Yo, what's good, everyone? It's Freddie again, back with another episode of the Capturing Form podcast. You know what we do here. We're talking creative shit. We're talking to creators about their process, their routines, their stories, and their opinions on topics within their space. Super excited to be back. It's been a little while. I think I was on a little podcast hiatus. I was traveling across Europe, which has definitely re-inspired a lot of my creative thinking and execution as well. But you know, we had to hop back into another episode of the podcast. Very excited to be back. It's enough about what I've been doing. We have a very special guest today. Some of y'all might know him as Isaac Selby, but the rest of us know him as 4Point, rapper in the industry, manages a Latin rock band. I mean, what else can this guy not do? He's out here. He's got a new song coming out in September. And actually, wait, it might already be out by now. So give a warm welcome to my friend, Isaac Selby, 4Point. What's good, man? How are you?
What's good? Thanks for having me. I'm pumped.
Hell yeah, man. I think it's kind of crazy because me and you were just traveling in Europe for 16 days. And now we're back in the USA like we never traveled. I mean, How does it feel to be back?
Yeah, it's nice to be back. It's dope getting back to the routine and stuff. Definitely miss traveling because that was amazing.
Yeah.
But also good to be home.
All right. What was the standout moment from the trip / your favorite food?
Man, the food one is hard. I'll need some time on that one. Okay. Standout moment was definitely the sunset cruise in Santorini.
Yes.
That shit was insane.
If you guys haven't seen, there's a photo. You might have to scroll like a second that I posted on my Instagram. I think the moment was just insane. It was a sunset. And it's also capturing of like the white buildings and there's some rock in the foreground. I just thought it was an amazing sight. I'm gonna say for the food, for me, food in Paris was nuts. Just waking up every day, no eggs, bacon. We're eating galettes or crepes, as we Americans call it. And time of my life,
crazy.
Fucking crazy. I know. So I don't know. I've been looking back at the photos recently, and I've been reminiscing a little bit, but. You know,
I might have to go with Italy for the food. France was amazing. Or actually, best single food experience was definitely Le Petit Chalet, that restaurant.
Why don't you let them know what it was like? Okay,
so imagine you are in rural France, beautiful summertime, nice trees, manicured grass. You got farms, and you come across a quaint, petite, white cottage in the French countryside. As you get closer, it turns out this cottage is actually a bed and breakfast restaurant, and they serve fire-ass French food. And then you go inside, and they seat you at a shitty table, but then move you to a fire table. And from that table, you have a view out the window of Notre Dame. That was how that restaurant made me feel.
And they had the menu, which was you didn't even get a paper menu. It was on a board.
Yeah, they literally brought this heavy ass board and just clunked it down on your table. And then when you ordered, they just picked it up and gave it to the next table.
But I've heard, though, if they don't have an English menu, that they're more authentic.
Yeah.
So I guess that was cool. It was a very unique experience that at least I don't think we'll have in a while. But family owned for, I don't even remember, 60, 70 years. Same place.
Something like that.
Something like that. Views were dope. Now we're back in the USA. You said you're on your routine. So what's it been like these days? You know, you're still managing the band, working on the rap career. I don't know, walk us through like a day in the life.
Sure. 8 a.m., wake up begrudgingly to the alarm, get up, take a cold shower, make a smoothie, drink athletic greens. It's like a dietary supplement with a bunch of
shout out greens powder if you guys aren't on that.
Yeah, facts.
It's good.
Facts. And athletic greens is the shit. Of all the greens powders that I've seen, it's the highest quality ingredients. And so I drink that, make the smoothie, drink a electrolyte thing, just get like super hydrated, and then meditate for 5 minutes, try to clear my mind, freestyle for 10 minutes, then just work on music till noon. drinking my smoothie during that time to keep me from needing breakfast, which is a challenge. And then noon, I have breakfast, which is a little bit of a late, ridiculous
Is that by choice
time.
now, or is that just how it fits in with your day?
I mean, it's by choice because I don't want to interrupt the period of creativity. You know, like I try to protect that. I keep my phone on airplane mode that entire time, no distractions. It's just focusing on music. Because once I turn my phone on and check the emails, it's like it's all goes to shit. There's like so many distractions. I probably won't be able to return to like a clear mind until the end of the day.
Yeah,
so
you can't tempt yourself. It's like
can't
you're trying to lose weight and you go to ice cream store, bro. You actively tempted yourself.
Yes, you played yourself, as DJ Khaled would say.
Yeah, you played yourself.
I'm reading his book as well. Rereading his book. I read it once.
The Keys. What's it called?
Yeah,
The Keys.
The Keys. Yeah, yeah, dope book. After breakfast, I do business. So I switch mindsets from the artist to manager, and I just work on business tasks for my music. Then I eat lunch. Then I walk to a coffee shop in the area. Try to find one where I can sneak in and work there without buying the coffee because I don't like spending the money.
Yeah.
But occasionally I will splurge and there's a fire ass Yemeni coffee shop like 3 blocks from me. Ridiculous coffee. It's like insanely good tasting with cream, cardamom, turmeric, like all these different flavor combinations. So that's like when I'm
in business mode.
when I really want it, I'll let myself spend like $5 and get one.
Fire. Okay. So
yeah.
And then how do you sort of wrap up?
Okay. Yeah. So I go to the coffee shop and bang out a couple hours of work for the band. And then I hit the gym. I alternate every other day is strength and then mobility and recovery. So strength days, I run to the gym, which is in Salesforce Tower, which is like a fire ass location for a gym here in San Francisco. Get my workout in, run back. If I have enough time, I run back along the waterfront, which is like insane because San Francisco has like an awesome waterfront. And then other days I run to this park overlooking a canal next to my house and just do yoga and stretching and shit there. Then I have dinner. Then I try to relax a little bit before I go to bed. And then
what does relax look like for you?
This last week, it's been Obi-Wan Kenobi show.
Oh, on Disney Plus.
That shit is insane, dude.
I'll be real. I've never seen anything. I lied. I've seen like three movies of Star Wars, but I've never seen like that, like all of it together. I don't really know the story. I feel like everyone's like, yo, you got to get with it. Watch Star Wars. I'm just like, man, I don't know. I just never got into it.
When I come to Chicago, all night marathon.
Perfect. I guess you told the people about your routine. If you had to describe yourself, how would you describe yourself in terms of if someone saw you and were like, oh, what do you do? What would you say?
What I do, I would say I'm a rap artist. That's my thing. After that, I'm a manager, a music businessman. I am a traveler, a lover.
Traveler?
I don't know. I like hitting the gym. I like animals. I love food as well. Amateur chef, I would describe myself as.
Okay, nice. But so you would put rap artist ahead of your managing career?
Totally.
Okay, word. I mean, we're going to get into both of those topics in a second, but let's rewind it back. You're in San Francisco now. You're a big representative for your city. I don't know, what's the nickname of Seattle? What do they call it?
There's Seatown, Emerald City.
The Emerald City.
Those are probably the two.
Okay, let's take it back to the Seatown. How'd you get into rap? Who was your artist idol at the time? And what made you take the leap from I'm just going to listen to I'm going to make music?
Dope. Yeah. So it all happened when I was 17. I was a baseball player at that point. And so most of my free time, that was kind of my thing at the time. So I would play a lot of baseball and in the summers I would play baseball. And so When I injured my shoulder, I couldn't play summer ball that year, and I had all this time on my hands that I had never had. I'd always been a big fan of rap up until that point. Like I loved the intellectual side of it, the rhymes and the writing and the storytelling and all that stuff. But I'd never done it myself. But then having all this extra time on my hands, I was like, shit, I'm bored. I'm kind of down because I got this injury, and there was some other stuff going on in my life at that time. Like I think there was this girl that I really liked, that I met at a Jewish summer camp that I did. And, we really fucked with each other, but there was like a variety of very annoying factors that made it so we couldn't like hang out really or date and shit. And so I was annoyed about that. So anyway, I like channeled that into the music and was just like, fuck it. I'm going to write songs. And it turned out that I loved doing it. And, I just never stopped because I ended up really liking it.
Do you have like the first rap you ever wrote?
Yeah, it's horrible. No one will ever hear it.
You want to give us a sneak peek at like two of the bars, or you don't remember?
Let me see if I can remember. It's the chorus is young God in this bitch now. Something like that. Yeah.
I didn't even think I knew that.
It's really bad.
Have you heard the first song I ever wrote? Or I ever did?
So. I don't know. Okay, well, you've played me like some Young Freddie, so maybe I've heard it and not realized.
No, this is before like anything sounded like coherent. This is like before that Young Freddie, but take it like 3 years before Young Freddie, so it was like 12. Okay. Someone actually wrote the chorus for me. It's a song on YouTube that you have to dig really far back to find. But it's called "Can't Stop Our Roll."
You're telling me you had a ghostwriter when you were 12?
My friend, he's the one that basically put me on rap, wrote the chorus for me because I did not know what to write. And so he wrote the chorus for me. And the song is called Can't Stop Our Roll. Meanwhile, he's killing it at 12, which is nuts. Like killing it at 12. Shout out that man because he actually recently, he like locally got signed. But anyways.
Wow.
Yeah. Fucking nuts. Anyways, he wrote the chorus for me and we did it. The first song I ever wrote was a song called The Difference. Horrible verse. But I look back at it. I remember writing it. I was like, oh my God, this is so good. This is so good. Yeah, I don't know. You can't make a difference if your life is the same. I got a lot of money. I'm about to make it rain. That was like bars. So you wrote that first song, 17 years old. I guess, when did you see yourself really wanting to pursue rap as a career? At what point did you find like that confidence to be like, you know what, I can do this?
Day one. Yes, which is ridiculous looking back. Like I knew I thought, I was very sure that like very, very early there that I was going to be a rapper and that's what I was going to do. Like that summer when I started writing, I was like, this is what I'm going to do. Looking back, it was a very naive confidence at the time, right? Yeah. No understanding of what it actually took. And definitely I overestimated how good I was at the time. If I had to guess back then how long it would be until I was like, you know, a poppin' rapper, I'm sure I would have said like I would be popping by now. I'm not, but
yeah, it takes a while.
You know, but I mean, looking back, I'm glad I had that kind of confidence. Like in that Russ book you gave me, one of his keys is delusion. You know what I'm talking about?
Of course.
He's like, if I wasn't delusional to think that I was going to make it, I would have given up before I even started. Same with me, I guess. Like, I'm glad I had that naive confidence because it got me to pursue it. And then obviously, like over time, you know, bit by bit, as I actually got better and I made connections and I tapped into the culture and all that, like I formed a better and better picture of what it actually was going to take and honed the skills and met people and all that stuff. And so now I'm happy to say I have a hopefully much less naive confidence.
Hey, okay. I like that. All right. I'm going to put you on the spot here. The question is, why should someone listen to you? Why would someone add you to their playlist? Why you?
Why me? I would say, I bring a unique combination of a old school spirit of rap storytelling with a modern sound. So I write stories about my life and keep it real, kind of in the spirit of like 90s, early 2000s rap that I was inspired by. But I love modern sounds, and living in Atlanta with, trap music and all the, dope things that producers are doing nowadays. I embrace that as well. So I would say if you want a combination of heartfelt bars and old school style storytelling with a modern flavor, listen to my ass.
Hey, okay. I like that. So when you talk about your music and the storytelling, what song do you think like brings that to life out of your current catalog?
That's a good question.
Like what song would you be like, oh, let me direct you to this song that I have out right now?
The best examples of 4-point storytelling are definitely still in the bank. They're not out yet, but of the stuff that's out, I got to go with New Miracles, the one that just dropped. That one, not only is it my latest song, it's one of my most heartfelt songs, and one of the most kind of it flowed from a very strong emotional place in looking back at my life.
All right, let's talk about that single a little bit more. This moment from our conversations recaps a time period where you were in Madrid and it was like the beginning of your new, I guess, world. What's the chorus? I'm
out in Madrid. I consider that new miracles. I just speak my heart. That gonna take care of new miracles.
All I say is
facts, because I know this shit a marathon going scary far. We in airy bar. She from South America.
Hey, okay. If I had that that's where I would put it. Okay, so let's talk about the song a little bit more. New single that you've put out, and it's the first single that you've put out in what must be a year, if not longer.
Yeah, if not longer. Talk
why this song as your first single, what this song means to you, and I guess what was the process of your writing process for this one?
Okay, so why this song is it? The song is about kind of the start of a new kind of chapter in my life, and a period of like heavy transformation and growth for me personally, and so it felt appropriate to kick off a new chapter musically, right? Where I've been on a big hiatus to learn and finish school and manage a rock band to learn the game and all that stuff. And now I'm coming into a new chapter where I'm going to be, aggressively trying to grow my rap career and releasing a bunch of music and getting after it. Felt appropriate to kick off that new era with a song about, transformation and kicking off a new era in my personal life.
Okay. That's why the song. Talk about the writing process, bring it all the way back, because you were in Madrid in 2020. It's been 2 years since then.
Yeah.
And whatnot. So when you're writing it, how did the inspiration come out for things like the chorus, or was it literally you just sat down and you just started going?
So when I was writing it, I remember it pretty clearly, actually. It was November. I was back at my parents' crib in Seattle, and I was sitting on my bed. And I was going through beats that the boy Nithin, Indy, a dope producer we went to school with out of Atlanta, sent me. And he sent me this one that was just fucking bonkers. It was like super untraditional. It had like this crazy, like super dramatic violin. Like the whole thing felt dark and like very grand and ominous. And I was like, I don't know how I'm going to rap over this, but I got to figure out a way to rap over this. And so I just started writing and I guess just what came to mind was these images of when I was back in Madrid, and I was just pushing super hard in trying to tear down my insecurities and crack open like mental cages in my mind and like manifest the mindsets and the attitudes that I wanted to have in life, and all that was when I was in Madrid, and that's just what flowed out of me, and that's what the song's about.
My favorite line. That's why I take chances. That's why I'm romantic. That's why I take my heart on my chest and I gamble
it.
That's it. That's a good line. I feel like for you, for other people that don't know, I feel like your nickname should be Mr. Romantic. I feel like that line describes you pretty well.
I love romance.
Yeah, maybe a little bit too much. I've never seen someone that loves romance as much as Isaac. So it's like, yeah, romance. Yes.
I love it. Especially, bro, Europe. No one should ever let me back to Europe.
Yeah,
Europe
we're borrowing you. We're stopping you there and say, yes, sir, you have too much romantic energy. No, sir.
Paris was OD. That was too much.
I miss Paris. Honestly, I came back and I was like, damn, bro, I want to write a European album now, just talking about the trip, but maybe for another time, because that's so far away. But
we got to at least collab on a single about the trip.
We got to collab on a single. Look for that to come out sometime soon. You know what's funny is I've known Isaac for 4 years now. And when we met, I think his rapping style was a lot different than now. But anyways, we met through like a freestyle club. And I'll say since then, he gotten a lot better, like a lot better. You know, it can keep toe to toe. And I think that's what's always dope is you're always looking for ways to improve, not only in your own personal life, but especially with the craft. I think that's important.
That was a very, very gentle way of saying I used to suck.
Nah, definitely not. I just think it's so dope to see people improve. And I think freestyling is hard. It's very hard. And I think for some people it clicks and for some people it doesn't. But I think for you, things are clicking now. And I think if you were to freestyle on a beat, it's not like, oh shit, I'm losing my mind. You know? Yeah. It's hard. A lot of people will shy away from it, but I love the confidence, especially like you talked about before, bringing the confidence, maybe the delusional confidence to less naive confidence now. I think in the music game, it's important to have that confidence because it could be a short time away. It could be a long time away before you get that break.
Totally. Do the what? Fuck the when, know the why.
This would be another moment. Yeah. Do the what? Fuck the when, know the why. Anyways, let's talk about your other career, managing a rock band. How did that happen? And what exactly would you say? How has this complemented your own individual career?
So managing the rock band has been like one of the dopest things I've had the luck to be able to do. I had a professor in college. One of the dopest classes I got to take was a music industry, like a overview of the music business. And he is my boss now. He runs a management company where he manages. It's like 9 or 10. I should know how many artists we have. It's either, I think it's like 9 or 10 artists. And I started off interning for him and was kind of like assigned to a folk artist named Max Gomez. And Max is awesome, dope music. I got to kind of cut my teeth or like learn my management chops with him. Yeah. And that was sick. And then I kind of graduated to a more challenging group, which is the guys I'm currently with making movies. And they have like so much stuff going on. They run a nonprofit. They put on a festival. They're touring all over the place. They just put out an album. So
hey, go check out Making Movies out of Kansas, Latin rock music, Grammy nominated.
Yes, they're the shit. Amazing musicians and dope ass dudes as well. But that was just awesome because like it was like a huge challenge to have all this shit going on. They're amazing guys, also very demanding. Like they take their shit seriously. They're trying to blow up and so it was exactly what I needed. Like to push me to learn how to manage a group and I got to go on tour with them, which was one of the most amazing experiences of my life. We did a few different runs. The longest one was a month long all over the US and then a few dates in Mexico, which was like, how the fuck am I doing this? Like, I still can't quite believe that I got to like do that. Yeah. So
talk about South by Southwest, huge festival down in Texas. One of the biggest music festivals in the US. I mean, what was it like helping set up with the band for that?
That was fun. That was pretty, it feels like a long time ago. It was like closer to the beginning of when I was going on the road with them and touring with them. So I was still, very like, I felt very new and everything was overwhelming and I was trying to figure everything out. So I loved being in Austin. The energy was awesome at South by Southwest. But I was also like very much like trying not to fuck up and stay focused. And so I didn't necessarily let myself enjoy it as much as maybe I would have now, because I was trying to stay on my shit.
Yeah.
But it was a dope experience, awesome city, and cool memory.
Did you watch them play?
Yeah.
Is it crazy like for them to walk on the stage? I can only assume there's like thousands of people there for the eruption to come up. Like,
So South by Southwest is actually interesting. Like it's a huge festival. It has like obviously like a big
multiple stages and stuff,
but they have it. It's at least the way we participated in South by Southwest was not like a traditional festival like you would think of, like like Music Midtown or in Atlanta or Lollapalooza or whatever. It's like we did showcases. So there was one night where we did a showcase for Cosmica, which is the label that we recently signed to, and that was awesome. Great vibes, tons of dope people in the room. But it was just like a club gig. It was at this cool venue, so maybe just a few hundred people there. And then we did like an official South by Southwest showcase, which was in like a big conference room at the hotel. And we did, I think, one other one. So it was like different than most people think of when they think of a festival.
I didn't know that.
Still amazing.
I'm sure. I think, I guess what's one big takeaway now that you're looking from it from a business standpoint for artists is looking to get signed, or a band is looking to get signed? Like, what did making movies do that I guess stood out about them that allowed them to be able to take that music to the next level and get that contract come in?
With making movies, I would say, I mean, it's cliche, but it's cliche for a reason, is they worked really fucking hard for a long time. I came on board like year 10-ish in their journey. So, I mean, I wasn't there to see like the details of exactly what they did right and what they did wrong. Like in those 10 years, I can't exactly speak to like specific strategies and all that good stuff, but they worked their asses off and they did it consistently for a long ass time. And like they really inspire me, honestly. Like getting to work with them opened my eyes to like what it means to be a real artist, because they earned everything that they have now, 100%.
I mean, that's the thing. I think for a lot of the creative work in any industry, especially music, that we see some overnight successes. I feel like there are like a few of them, you have Billie Eilish and whatnot, that do get a chance at instant virality, or they have a prior brand like Ariana Grande. But I think for a lot of musicians, and for that, just to narrow it down further, just living musicians, not necessarily the Weeknd type status, it takes a lot of dedication, a lot of hard work, and probably a lot of things you don't see behind the scenes, a lot of things that you don't see behind the scenes to get to where they are now, which is nuts. And you don't see it 10 years in the game.
Yeah.
But now they're performing. I think that's awesome. We were talking about this earlier when we were in Europe. Talk about the biggest struggle that you see them face and sort of how that influences your perception of your own career.
That's a good question. Biggest struggle that the band is facing right now?
Biggest struggle the band faces, not just music-wise, but in their own personal life. Or it could be both. And how that makes you think about your own career and your own progression.
That's a good question. I would say the saturation of like traditional channels to communicate with fans and get your music out there, and the ridiculous level of competition for attention is a big challenge that I learned. I had my eyes open to from this last album cycle from the band, and that definitely makes me think hard about which where I want to put my energy and how the strategic places that I want to prioritize for how to go find fans and get my music out there and stuff. Because, making movies is 100 times more famous than I am right now. They have, fans all over the world. They have tons of allies and supporters co-signed by legends, like all this amazing stuff. And still, we sometimes struggle to reach their fans with, marketing messages to just let them know that we're playing a show in their city. Like people have spam filters on their emails. People's inboxes are massive. People's Instagram feeds are just flooded with all this random shit. So
you know what y'all's click-through rate is by chance? Is that a metric you know off the top of your head?
For what?
Just a general, like, we're going to set out a marketing email, like on average, what a click-through open rate would be?
I would have to check on that.
Okay.
I haven't been in the weeds on the email marketing in a minute.
Okay. Keep going though.
But yeah, so that made me realize like, oh shit, like, some of the shit that may have been easy money like 5 years ago is not easy money anymore. Doesn't mean it doesn't work anymore. That, you like, we're not like, flipping out about it, but it was just an interesting thing to learn. It's like, oh, wow. I guess we got to work a little harder, be a little more strategic to reach people than maybe in the past.
And what about the personal struggle we were talking about with them and their families, and how that's also played a part in you thinking about your music career?
Yeah, I mean, seeing the balance of trying to, push and blow up a rock band while having a family, is good, like, reality kind of experience for me, seeing that, like, man, like there's real sacrifices that you have to make for this shit. And I really admire what the guys do to make this thing happen. Cause it's really not easy. And it certainly requires a lot of sacrifices in other areas of life.
The being away from family part, and I know we're not at that stage of our lives yet, but I can only imagine when you're at that point in your life and then you have kids and then you're also trying to make the music your livelihood and also trying to grow your own brand, that, man, if you're willing to take sacrifice from your kid, you care about this shit a fuck ton. Because that's, I think, probably one of the, if not the biggest sacrifice you have to make, is being away from your family at that age for an extended period of time, especially if your kids are little.
Totally. Yeah.
Does it,
for me, at least, for sure. I think, obviously depends on the person, but
do you feel like that's a harsh reality that any older musician just has to take? Or do you think at that point, someone would make the decision to be like, you know what, it's time to hang up the cleats?
I think a lot of people do, like I feel like most people who want to be musicians don't really see it through to a point of like sustained financial success. I don't have, that's just like anecdote. I don't have like data on that, but would you agree with that? Like most people don't, take it to the top in this shit.
I haven't seen many, I don't really hear about too many underground hip hop artists that are like 35 and have kids and shit. Yeah. It's all like people our age. I don't know. Do you feel like that puts any sort of pressure on you, or do you not think about it a lot just because you're in that space where you're on tour, they're talking to their kids and then playing the show and they're trying to balance it? Like, do you feel like that makes you think about time a little bit more?
Totally. 100%. Like, in so many ways, just being around those guys has been just the best thing that could ever happen to me. Seeing how they work, seeing how they approach their artistry and all that shit. Just like, it's like it's like an apprenticeship with like a master or some shit. Just fucking awesome. And so in this specific way, it's the same, like seeing the realities of their life and all that. It 100% makes me be like, wow, I actually don't have that much time before I'm going to have kids and have a wife and all this shit. So I better fucking get it going.
Get to fucking work.
Yeah.
What is your, I guess, dream situation sound like with rap? At what point do you feel like, for you personally, what are you gunning for with this? Are you gunning, I guess, at what point would you be satisfied with your rap career?
I will not be satisfied until I topple Jeff Bezos for richest man. No. I just want to be able to do it full time for the rest of my life, right? Being able to spend my time doing what I love, making enough money to support my lifestyle. So living extremely healthy, right? Being able to hit a nice ass gym, being able to eat highest quality ingredients, animals that were raised really well, having a nice crib in a dope city, in a nice neighborhood, and then being able to provide all that times 4. So wife, I'm assuming I'll have 2 kids. That's just a, guess at this point, but, private school for the kids, college for the kids, and then extra money to travel and, extra money in case of emergencies or whatever. So if I can do all that, that will be,
the dream come true.
Yes, the dream come true. Ridiculously happy.
I think my tip in this episode for a creator, any creator, especially in music, would be define your definition of success. Because if you don't know what you want, it's very tough to navigate how the fuck you're going to get there. And then at what point you're going to be like, yeah, I'm satisfied. Because I feel like there's a trajectory up, and at some point it starts to level out. What we learned it in calculus class. I'm blanking, but please remind me of that line.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Is it asymptote?
Honestly, I'm not sure, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, the game, you start getting so close to the line, but you never get there. I feel like that's how you can define any career, and you just get so close. You keep going up and up and up and up. And you get so close, but it's never enough. That's how I like to think about it. But it's good. I feel like you've defined your definition of success. I just think it's important.
What's your definition of success?
I think about it all the time, and I feel like for me, I just had so many switches in like the creative career I always thought I was going to go down. And now I think I know what I want. And, I think for me, I want to do YouTube. I think YouTube is my new obsession, but I don't want to lose things that I've held on with me. So I want to use YouTube to grow my music brand as well. Just like Logic, who makes YouTube videos, I think it's really dope to document your life. I think it's really important to showcase to, I guess, your fans the life that you live. And I think that helps build a strong community for your fan base. And also, I just like it. So being able to combine music and YouTube would be awesome. And I think at some point, like monetary, if we're just strictly talking about money, if I can make enough to live in a metro city that I can enjoy, and I can provide for, a good life for my future family, and also be able to every now and then afford different luxuries like travel, for example, that if you haven't checked that YouTube video out, go check it right now. But anyways, I value travels just so much. I think it adds, at the right time and place, a lot of fruit flavorness to your life. And no, you don't need it. A lot of these things are not necessities, but it just adds that, again, that drop of flavor that just makes things colorful again. I think that's important. So I think that would be like my definition of success. I think just being, because now I feel like you don't really know success until you find what you like and what you really love to do, I guess, if we're talking about career success. So I think this is what I like. And I think we'll see. I also work a corporate job. So, but I enjoy it though. And I think I say that as like, I work that. And I think, I'm still trying to find a good balance between there, but I do enjoy it. But that would be my definition.
I dig it.
I want to talk about a major topic in music right now, it's been a major topic forever. And because you work in the music industry, you could have some insight on it. Why music pays so little for both artists and then also people that work in the industry, like people that work in A&R and whatnot, except for those that are like popping off. I want to hear your opinions on that, especially as someone who's like living through it. Why aren't they getting paid? And what are your thoughts?
That's a good question. I don't want to talk out my ass and say things that don't really have the expertise to say. So I'll start with my personal experience. I don't know why the industry is structured the way it is. Probably has a lot to do with like historical inertia, like the way the industry was, and then that carries over to today.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, for me, why I don't make very much in music yet is because I love it. And when you love it, your bar for how much money you need to get paid before you bounce is a lot lower. I am willing to do this shit and make no money in my own career for years because I love it and it's my dream. I would never do that for account. Like, can you imagine? Be like, okay, you're going to be an accountant for 5 years and not make a penny, and then maybe you can still be an accountant and make some money. It's like, no, it's horrible. But yeah, I'm willing to do that for music because it's fucking awesome. Same with, that's me as an artist. Same with people love music and people want to be around music. And there's lots of people who their dream is to be, work for a label or a management company or whatever. I don't make that much as a manager either, but I'm happy doing it because it's in the field that I love. And like I was saying earlier, it has all these benefits. I get to be around rock stars and travel the world and learn from these guys about how to be a real artist. Like that shit is just crazy. So it just, all that amazing shit lowers my, the threshold that would need to be reached for me to bounce. And so I'll put up with a lot more. And that's my experience. And I feel like it's fair to say if everybody has that mindset, the supply and demand is going to work out so that wages are low. people's willingness to work for little is high. So they're going to work for little.
I had a conversation with our mutual friend, Rudra, maybe like 2 months ago. And we were talking about the pay of A&Rs and how it's lower than some of the lowest paying professions in the country. Like what, $30,000 a year. And I think like, if you love it, you can go with it. At what point though, is it too low? Do you think that's, I'm just curious, like major hot take here do they pay these people enough money, like actual workers for the labels and whatnot? Or are they also getting cheated like the artists?
I honestly can't speak to that. I honestly just don't know. I don't work for a label. I don't know. I actually don't know that much about labels.
That's something we got to figure out. Why?
Yes, some Google research after the podcast.
After the podcast. Who are some of your influences in your rap career? You have like an artist that you really fuck with?
Of course. Right now I've been listening to a lot of Pop Smoke. That's been like this last week. A lot of Pop Smoke, a lot of Big Sean, a lot of Coda the Friend, Larry June.
Favorite artist of all time in hip-hop?
Witt Lowry.
Witt Lowry. Okay, why?
Because he got me into it. He was like Eminem was the first rapper that made me love rap. Like,
I feel that's a lot of people. Me too.
like people of our age, like white kids my age in Seattle, when Recovery dropped, that was like the coolest thing in the world. Like everyone in middle school.
I'm not afraid.
Yeah. I was in 6th grade when Recovery dropped. Everyone was listening to it. Like the cool kids listened to Cold Wind Blows because that was like the extremely vulgar one. The less cool kids, weren't quite up on that one. But yeah, so Eminem got me into it. But then Witt Lowry was the one that made me think I could do it. Because back when I was 17, I saw myself in Witt Lowry. And he's not my favorite artist anymore, but I will forever love him and be loyal to him because of that.
Did you have a fanboy moment when you met him?
Yeah. Yeah, 100%.
So he must have come to Seattle. You must have bought like the VIP, or you waited in line after the show?
I saw him in Atlanta, actually.
Oh, you saw him in Atlanta. Wait, were you in college at this point? Oh, okay. Yeah. He came to Atlanta, and do you remember like how that interaction went down? It can only be like 2 minutes, but do you remember how it went down?
Yeah. So I was in the VIP line. Of course, I had to buy VIP.
You had to.
Tickets. I had to. And he was much smaller than he's not like massive now, but he was smaller then. So I think it was only like $70 for like VIP and meet and greet. So yeah. I was 100% down for that.
I paid a lot more for tickets that I don't get VIP shit.
Yeah. It was fucking awesome. It was in one of the masquerade rooms. It wasn't the tiny one. It wasn't purgatory. It was either hell or heaven. Mm-hmm. And we were the VIP line snaked around like this. And then finally I got to him and I had my poster and my shirt and he signed them and I took a picture with him and then I watched the show.
Did you guys have any, like, I don't know, interaction? Did you say anything? Were you like, I'm a rapper too? You inspired the fuck out of me?
Honestly, I forget what I said and what he said. I wish I remembered that part better, but I don't. I'm
recalling two moments off the top of my head. Do you know who like Traffic is? Timothy De La Ghetto?
No.
Oh, he used to be on Wild 'N Out, and then he was really popular on YouTube and still kind of is. I met him when I was 14 or 13 at a store in my home city. And I remember like he was there for a meet and greet. And I went up and I was like, yo, I have to rap for you. And right in the line, I was like 13. I prepared like a little rap for him and I stumbled. And it was mad embarrassing. I'm pretty sure he thought I was a joke, but it's all good because he was really cool. I don't know if I told you this, but I recently saw Logic and Wiz Khalifa on their Vinylverse tour. And
you told me you were going to go.
Yeah, I told you I was going to go. And I actually went to go see him. There's two crazy things that happened at this concert. But before we even get to that, one, he like Logic's incredible performer. And for y'all that didn't know, Logic was my favorite artist growing up. Starting back 2014, Soul Food, Under Pressure album. I memorized it the moment it came out. All the songs on the album I loved. And since then I've been a fan of Logic, but I've never been able to see him live. So being able to see him live, goddamn, like 8 years later, it's fucking nuts because now he's already went from his first album to like a 7th studio album, retired, and then came back. So like a lot of things have happened. So it's nuts seeing him. But I was in the seat and you know who was right next to me?
Who?
Zac Efron.
No.
Right next to me. For real? Was crazy. Because you don't expect it. But
he was just in the regular seats?
We were in VIP seats, granted.
Okay.
But there was a lot of security. But he was this guy that came up and I didn't think anything of it. He was just wearing like this all black. He was wearing a mask and a hat and everything. So it was very hard to tell. But someone next to me, I went with a friend and they were like, hey, why you know, there's like a bouncer behind us or the security guard. I was like, oh, and the dude wasn't even paying attention to the concert. But he's always pulling up and asking that guy dressed in all black, do you need anything? Do you need anything? And it took me a long time, but the moment he took off his mask and started drinking this drink, I was like, oh my God, his jawline is too chiseled. And I was like, it looks like Zac Efron. I was like, hey man, like, you think that's Zac Efron? We never got to confirm it until after the show. And we did like some research and it was like Zac Efron's in Atlanta for his new movie. And then it was like, and then Logic the next day posted this freestyle apparently that he recorded after the show. And he's like, I was in the green room with Zac Efron. I was like, no way. Right next to us. So
that's crazy.
And also, if you've never seen Wiz Khalifa live, honestly, just do it once. Because it'll be like the experience of a lifetime. He's just an insane performer. Not even necessarily because of the music. The music is dope, by the way. But like, this man just grabbed the smoke machine and started playing with it, if you know what I'm saying. Like, it's even too explicit for the podcast. My man just took it, used it as his dang-a-lang, and just started spraying it everywhere. Like,
that's crazy.
Yeah. Before we move on, I just want to say this man, shout out Wiz, but him, he had his, I guess, 2 kids up on stage with him. They all chugged water and spit it in the audience.
What?
Like, it's funny, but I don't know what went through his head for him to be like, yeah, let's drink this and then let's spit it out. And I'm gonna teach my kids while I'm at it.
That's low-key nasty.
All in all, though, 10 out of 10 show. I don't know. You're talking about Witt Lowry. I was just thinking of this Logic Wiz concert. I was like, man, this is nuts.
That sounds crazy. Zac Efron and Wiz spit.
Wiz, yeah. Anyways, I guess looking now, honestly, we're both still young. I think we both put a lot of timelines and pressure on ourselves because, man, it's time to get popped. It's time to get going. But, 22 and 23. Talk about, I guess, as we sort of wrap up, the progression of how you see your career. And you have what must be an abundance of songs at this point. What's sort of your music strategy for folks that are trying to learn about how to, I guess, go about their song releases?
Okay.
In a strategic manner.
That's a good question. The first thing I'll say, which I totally stole from something that Circa at Indepreneur, which is a dope music education company, said in a podcast I listened to yesterday. Before you even think about your release strategy, make sure that your music creation engine is, fully calibrated. Until you can consistently make songs every week, every month, that are dope and ready for release.
Yeah.
Don't release anything, because a big effort followed by nothing, and then another big effort, is not really the way to grow your music anymore. And so the only way to consistently be releasing music is if you're consistently producing music. So that's step one. Make sure you're actually ready to launch your career, meaning you as an artist you have fully organized your life and turned yourself into a fully firing creative machine. If you can say yes to that, then it's time to start releasing music. And this is the stage I'm at right now. I've recently feel confident in my ability to your lifestyle has to support this too. Like if you're, for whatever reason, can't set aside the time in the day to make music, you're not ready either. Like, so it's a whole lot of factors. I've recently got my lifestyle and myself as an artist to the point where I'm a creative machine. I'm ready. I'm consistent. Now I'm going to start releasing a single every month, accompanied with some very specifically designed videos. So videos that are optimized for social discovery on platforms like Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and Facebook. Releasing those with each single. Trying to play as many opening shows or like soft ticket built-in audience shows as possible. So just opportunities to play in front of other people's audiences and, get in front of new people that way, and just do that indefinitely until I have amassed an audience. Oh, and run ads. That's the other big piece, is run like awareness type ads to find fans online.
Yeah.
With these videos that I'm creating for each single, videos that are shot in and edited in specific ways so that they're optimized for social discovery on these platforms. And then doing that until I've amassed an audience that's paying attention to me and that cares about me. That's dope. The next phase. And then from there, working on deepening the relationship with the audience, working them down a marketing funnel, turning them into subscribers and customers and diehard lifelong fans.
Dang. Okay, that's a dope strategy. I hope everyone out there took some notes in their head about the strategy. But it's dope to hear you talk about your career. And I know you have spoiler alert, the album that's sort of going to be the compilation of your singles. Do you have a name for that yet, or not yet?
I'm playing with a few. Playing with a few. Yes.
What can folks expect from you coming up? The singles every month, new miracles out. I mean, what's the next step? What can they expect?
A lot of music, a lot of songs for the near future.
And where can they find you at?
4Point Music, at 4Point Music on Instagram, 4Point Music on Facebook, 4Point Music on, or I think it's actually just 4Point on YouTube.
Dope.
I'm 4Point, 4pointmusic.com.
4Point. Yes, sir. Any last words for the audience? Anything you want to say about either your songs, your album, or just about yourself?
Nothing about me, honestly. This was dope. This was a lot of fun. On the topic of like, if there's people listening who want to have a career as like an independent creative or whatever, the company that I mentioned, Indepreneur, is the shit. Like I swear by them 100%. It's where I've got learned 50% or more of my marketing and business knowledge from.
Yeah.
And so I cannot recommend that more. If you like, for any listeners who are into that shit, check them out, because their recommendations are better than any I've ever seen. They actually test. They're like data nerds who happen to be into music. So they don't recommend any bullshit. They actually test every single thing that they recommend, and that's why I trust them so much. So I just wanted to say that in case we have any listeners like us who are trying to grow an audience and shit like that.
Dope. I think this episode has a lot of gems, and even though we're like best homies, it's always cool to kick it in a format like this. I feel like I've known your story, but I feel like now I know it even further. So it's great to hear about some of those experiences. If you fuck with 4Point and some of his music, and you want to go check out his new song, find him at the platforms that he mentioned, also in the description below. It's been dope having y'all for yet another episode. Excited to return next week with another one. And we're closing up on nearing almost 3/4 of the way of season 1, 2/3 of the way. So I'm excited to see what the rest of the season has in store. Some amazing episodes. So yeah, my name's Freddie Fang, and thank you for tuning in. I'll see you guys next week. Peace.